Hello everyone, Ben Emerson here. Today I'm going to show you how you can grip a golf club correctly every single time to ensure that you're controlling that club face how you like. Coming up in today's video. The grip for me is such an important piece of the puzzle when it comes to actually playing golf. And sadly, time and time again, I come into this coaching bay and see people with really poor grips, and they just don't need to. It's one of these things of like changing a grip that people don't seem to want to go through the pain of changing it for the long-term pleasure that actually it could provide when you've got a nice grip, because the grip is the only thing that connects you to the golf club, and it controls the club face, which means it's controlling where the ball is going. It also allows the wrist to unhinge in the correct way to make sure we're releasing power correctly. But I think how we actually assess and look at our grip from the very beginning is, for most people, is wrong. Most people try and they set the club up like this. They put the hands on from this perspective, but actually, unfortunately, the club now is not sat how it would be if you were sort of, say, picking up a suitcase. It's at a funny sort of different angle like this. So when they grip it, it's very palmy. It's not as much in their fingers when it comes to the left hand. And I know you lefties are great at switching this around. But when it comes to a right-handed golfer, that having that left hand, that lead arm on the club correctly is vital. So I want you to first of all, pick the club up and actually hold it with your right hand on the shaft so you can actually see those grooves pointing straight up to the sky. Don't want you to start closed or open to start with, that would be pointless, but actually you'd be amazed how often I see that. But just actually get the club so the grooves are pointing straight up. You're holding it on the shaft, and from here I want you to really feel like you're kind of picking up a suitcase from an airport. You wouldn't pick from the handle underneath, you wouldn't pick with a palm on top, you would get your fingers to wrap around the handle, and that's exactly the same thing that happens with the golf grip. But it's so much easier if you're doing it from this position where the club's pointing, the grooves are pointing to the sky. Grip it with your left hand and really feel like you've got your fingers are holding onto that grip. As a lovely checkpoint, I like to make sure that the bottom pad of our hand is sat nicely on top of the grip. If it was underneath like this and I just let go slightly, all of a sudden I've got no support. So I want to just make sure that bottom pad sits nicely on top. There's all my fingers are doing most of the work. And actually from there you can see, I can see two knuckles if I pick the club up here, and I can feel that grip is nice and solid on that with that left hand. So now with the right hand, keeping the club up here like this, actually just feel like it's bringing in, and I just want to make sure that both pads sit nicely on top of that thumb. I can then see that I've got two knuckles again showing, and the V between my finger and my thumb and my index finger are just slightly pointing up to my right shoulder. A really strong grip would be when actually the hands go more around to the right, and now it just produces a really active hand. I start hooking the ball. So many problems can happen just with this position. And at the same time, if I do too much the other way, if I actually weaken the hands off slightly so all the hands move to the left, again, it's really hard to actually get the club face to come back square. It's more likely to come back open, and it's going to be very difficult to control that club face. So again, just hold the club out in front. Imagine you're picking up a suitcase. Grip it more in the fingers. Let that pad just sit on top of the grip so you can just see two knuckles with that left hand. Bring the right hand in, let it sit in perfectly, sits nicely onto the thumb. So again, you can feel your fingers are on the grip, and now I can see two knuckles and two knuckles. Now when I take the grip and the club down, I'm in a nice position just to swing the club and have some proper club face control. Again, please do not try and set up with the club on the ground and grip it. One, your eyes are distorted looking over it, so always pick the club up. And actually, I've been a pro for nearly 20 years now. Before every shot that I hit on the golf course, I always just check that my grip is correct. I've got two knuckles, I'm feeling it more in my fingers. Now when I actually go to make a swing, I can ensure that that club face is doing what I want. So now that I've got my good hands on there, I've taken the time to get organized, get my grip correct. Let's hit a shot and see how we do. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Please share it with anybody who needs help with their grip, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.